Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be doing a tier maker ranking of the Friday the 13th series franchise. So this is one of my favorite franchises, just slashes in general, horror in general, but especially like Michael Myers, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. It's kind of my bread and butter. Grew up watching these. I've seen these so many times. Not so much like some of the later ones like Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X, but so yeah, I was thinking about doing like a proper worst to best, like ranking them individually like that. But if I'm gonna do that, I want to like rewatch them right before I do that, so they're super fresh in my mind. So they're, but how I have seen these like plenty of times, like I know what each one is. But yeah, I just haven't watched them like recently within the last like 6 months or whatever, or a year. So yeah, let's just kick this thing off. Friday the 13th, the first one. So I used to not. I never disliked this movie, but I used to not be a huge fan of it. I probably would have put it in like B or C, if you asked me like 5 years ago. But these days, A, especially on my last rewatch or two, I've really come around on it where I really do like it. It really stands up, especially like the gore and stuff. I feel like it's more gory than half the sequels. Not that that's like the most important thing, but but yeah, I don't know. Really like this one. It's kind of fresh, even though it's not fresh because it's just copying Halloween and other stuff. But you know what I mean? I don't know the vibe to it. I don't know. Yeah. Part two. Part two is another one I used to go back and forth on, but honestly, I'm gonna put that in A. I think it has one of the best final girls. I love the whole thing with her trying to pretend to be Jason's mom. I love Sackhead Jason. Got some pretty good kills. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Just really like this one. It's still kind of grounded, more so than some of the later ones, which is I do like, even though I do like how ridiculous some of the later ones do get. I like both styles. But yeah, then we have part three. Also, by the way, I'm kind of going through these somewhat quickly because I did already film this whole video. It was like 20 minutes long and realized the audio wasn't working. So I'm refilming this whole video. So I'm so if I'm going kind of fast, it's because I'm reiterating what I've already said. So yeah, sorry if it seems like I'm kind of going fast through these. Friday the 13th Part Three. I've never really been a fan of this movie. So this isn't one I really go back and forth on. This is one that's usually towards the bottom, but I'm gonna put this in C. I'm not a huge fan of this movie. It's all right. Like I like the third act once things kind of Jason, everyone's more aware of Jason. They're trying, fighting back, etc. The final girl's pretty good. Not a huge fan of the portrayal of Jason in this. Just like the guy that plays him, I'm not a huge fan. Also the 3D. I never watched this movie in 3D, but the movie is like blurry and like hazy. I'm assuming that's because they shot it in 3D. So that just I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not really a fan of any of the characters in the movie. Like I don't hate, but I dislike the one main like guy, like the big guy. I forget his name. Like even the yeah. Yeah, I don't really like anyone. I don't really like anyone in the movie. He does get his mask though. The third act is entertaining, but like the first 2/3 of the movie is kind of just boring to me. Um, I'm not really a huge fan of like a ton of the kills. There's a few things I like in it, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just I don't know. See, like I still like the movie. Just it's definitely one of the weaker ones. Here I said I'm blazing through these, and yet I think I spent more time talking about this than I did on the original recording. Part four, S immediately. Love pretty much everything about this movie. It's got great kills. I like the directing. I actually like a lot of the characters in this one. Corey Feldman, just love all. It's got some of my favorite shots of the franchise, like um, Jason throwing the girl out the window. Just kind of the rain and just the way it's shot. I don't know. Really love four. Um, yeah, yeah, like I said, I've already talked about all these movies, so like I'm trying to remember what I said, but yeah. Um, so it feels like it might just be me. It feels like I'm not saying enough about them when I'm ranking them, but that's just how it is. Who knows if this video gets uploaded? Because I'm gonna be honest. I'm annoyed that the audio got lost, so I'm just a little annoyed while I'm making this video. But it is what it is. So yeah, sorry if that comes across in the video. Um, Part 13, Part 5. This is a very divisive one. I'm gonna put it in B. I do like the movie. It definitely has its issues. I like that they took a risk, went somewhere different with it. They could have set up Roy a little bit better as a killer. He's in like one and a half scenes. I'm exaggerating, but like, and like they don't really explain too much. Or just like, oh yeah, it was that one guy. Well, at the beginning of the movie, they seen for 2 seconds. I know he's in the movie more than 2 seconds, but you know what I mean. But then if they would have, it's just a balance because if they would have had him too much in the movie, you'd been like, oh, he's definitely the killer. Well, I don't know. I don't because I don't remember like my first time watching this movie. Because I watched all these as like a young kid growing up. I've always kind of just watches a lot, like especially with my dad growing up. So I don't remember my first time watching it, but like people back then, did they assume? I don't really know remember what the trailers were either because I think I've watched all these trailers in after the fact. I don't remember if the trailers played it up like who is the killer or if like you were supposed to think it's Jason. Well, because the movie played it off like is this Jason or isn't this Jason? But then some points of the movie are like, oh, it's clearly not Jason. But then other parts of the movie, I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling and rambling on this movie. Again, I'm feeling I'm spending more time than I did last time. um, Tommy also just a weird performance. Not that I don't like the performance, but it's just such knowing where it goes in six and Tommy in four. It just feels really disjointed from the rest of the franchise. And then I know one thing I this is not necessarily about this movie like the movie itself, but like um just people because I know people complain that oh Jason wasn't the killer, they want Jason back. But then people also complain when you keep making sequels and keep bringing back you keep killing off the character and bringing him back like it's ridiculous. But then anytime like Halloween they killed off Michael in Halloween 2, 3 they try to do something different. Oh, we want Michael back. Okay, so they brought him back in 4. They killed off Jason in 4, try to do something different with 5. No, we want Jason back. That's why we watch these movies. But then if you keep bringing Jason back, maybe it's because by this point, I think it's a difference between what fan. Like, I don't call them fans, but I think it's a difference between. Here I am going on a huge rant. It's a difference between like general movie going audience and like actual fans of slashers in the franchise. Because I don't know. Anywho, I'm going on some huge tangent. Part 6, S, love Part 6. It might be my favorite of the whole franchise. I love everything about it. Like the tone. I think it inspired Kevin Williamson to write Scream. I love the Jason in this. I know there are two different actors that play Jason, but I like Tommy in this movie. Just the whole this one I think is like one of the best vibes of the whole franchise. It's just like I can just put this movie on and vibe and just like kind of like especially during like October and just like fall, like it just feels like it fits in right in there with that. Um, I love it's the Jason James Bond thing at the beginning where he slashes the blood comes down. I just love that. It's hilariously amazing. Just the whole beginning, like first 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, I love. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just really love it. Like, I love the whole vibe of the movie aesthetic. Like, also it's the first one with kids actually in the campground, which I think does add something. Yeah, I like most of the characters in it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think 6 is great. Part 7. Part 7. This is the one I go back and forth on. I think as a kid I didn't like it as much. Or even like as like going into my teenage years. But recently the last couple rewatches it's definitely went higher. I'm gonna put it in A. Um, it's weird because it's zombie Jason, like even more so than part 6. He's super zombified, but somehow this movie feels more grounded. Even though you have a telekinetic fighting a zombie, this movie feels more grounded than the last couple. Which, like I said, I do. I like the grounded ones, and I also like the ridiculous ones. But I feel like this is the perfect mesh of the two. Also, I think this is Kane Hodder's best performance as Jason. I love Jason in this movie. It's got some good kills. Uh, I like the plot. I pretty much don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's just not. I don't like it as much as 4 or 6. But I definitely quite like it. I kind of wish they would have brought her back for more sequels, which I think was the plan. I can't remember, but yeah, I don't know. Love Part 7. Part 8. I know a lot of people despise Part 8. I don't mind it. I'd probably put it in B or C. I think I'd have to go C. Okay, I'll go see. I actually don't mind the boat stuff. It's not necessarily the boat that is a problem for me. It's more so I just don't think any of the kills or most of the kills on the boat are very good or like entertaining or whatever. Like I do like the aesthetic of the boat and like him on the, especially him when he's on the top, like with all the rain coming down and like that kind of stuff. I love those shots and just different stuff like that. And like when they get fall into the water and like are on the getting on the raft thing, like the aesthetic of all that, I think looks cool, like filming wise and like directing wise. I also don't really like any of the characters. Is a big part of the problem. I don't really think I like any character in this movie. The main girl's probably my favorite character, but even her, I'm not like super high on. Once they get to New York, I do like the kill with him punching the guy's head off, and you know, it's I like that part. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I don't dislike it as much as I think a lot of people do, but I also wouldn't put it like in S or A. I'd maybe consider like a B, like put it with part five. I kind of think it's on par with that, but I'm gonna put it in C just because, yeah, right now as I'm thinking it's a C movie, for me. Anyways, Jason Goes to Hell. This is probably the one I've seen the least. I've only seen this movie like 4 or 5 times. Honestly, just in terms of the franchise, I think it's probably a C movie, but in terms of ranking the franchise, I'm gonna put it in D. Um, I like the first like 10, 15 minutes. I like the last like 10, 15 minutes. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that doesn't really come back or play a huge part in the series, even though like it expands on all this lore and like I don't know, kind of just feels like this movie's a one-off, just forgotten. Then again, there's not really the franchise. The next one's Jason X and then Freddy vs. Jason. So I feel like maybe if they would have made another proper Jason movie, it would have went somewhere. Um, but yeah, like I just find the whole middle of the movie like just kind of boring. I'm not a like I don't know, just I'm not a huge fan of like any of the characters. Like I didn't get invested in any of the characters. The whole thing with him going between bodies. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of the movie. I think it was kind of boring. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. Jason X. You know what? This is actually I actually quite like this movie. Would I put it in A? No, it'd probably go in B. So part of the I don't know if part of the reason. Sorry, I thought I heard something else weird. Part of the reason I really love this movie is, or at least I think, is I'm just a huge fan of like space sci-fi movies set on like a spaceship kind of thing. Like I feel like I'm one of the only people that like that movie Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, just because I love like space and like stuck on a spaceship. One of my favorite shows is Doctor Who. Any of the episodes where they're like they land on like a spaceship or like a ship that's like stranded or has some problems, and they got to work with the crew to like fix it, and that's the whole episode. Those are like some of my favorite episodes. Surprisingly, I've never seen Alien, but which I probably love that movie since I like that. But just like any there's other movies I've seen like Star Wars, although that's not really like necessarily stuck on a ship, but like space in general. But more specifically, I do like space movies a lot, but like also like specifically like crew on a ship or like kind of like that alone. I don't know if dystopian is the right word, but like you know what I'm trying to say. Like I love that, so that might be part of the reason why I love Jason X. Yeah. Also, sorry, I keep going on a tangent. Agents of Shield. The season where they're in space on like the space station or whatever it is. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. I kind of that was also I really enjoyed that kind of stuff too. Anyways, yeah, Jason X. I think there's got some great kills. The ice kill with the face. The VR thing is kind of weird, but I didn't mind that either. Like, there's some other kills. Some of the CGI doesn't hold up because this is when you're starting to get into way more CGI. The thing where like the ship like goes through that dome city or whatever looks kind of weird. I'm trying to think of like I don't really have any negatives. It's definitely goofy and over the top. Uber Jason, I like the idea of Uber Jason and I like the execution of Uber Jason, except for I think his costume looks kind of like a Halloween costume that you bought at Kmart. I don't know why I said Kmart. That's not even a thing anymore, is it? Like that you bought at Walmart. Like it looks a little cheap. But I do like Kane Hodder in this movie as a performance. I even like the beginning. I'm doing a whole ass review on this movie. I do like the beginning as well, like getting to space. Yeah, I really like this movie. I don't know, I like it. Okay, the thing with him going to Earth 2 at the end, like falling like a shooting star, is ridiculous, but somehow it works because I feel like it fits the tone of the rest of the movie. They should have did the sequels on Earth 2. That would have been hilarious. Anyways, I gotta move on. Freddy vs. Jason. I used to love this movie as a kid. These days I feel like I've softened on it a bit. I still like it. I'd probably put it in B. Um, I really like the ending fight with Jason. Last like what was it, 15, 20 minutes once they get to the camp and or the lake, and they're fighting and all that. But I do like the rest of the movie too. One of the main issues I have is the main actress. I just don't think did a very good job. I don't know if it was her acting, because I usually bad acting doesn't bother me that much unless it's like really bad. But it was just something about. I feel like she just didn't fit in the movie. Like she was acting in a different movie is what it felt like. So that kind of took me out and just bothered me. I liked some of the characters in the movie, but it kind of just feels like they're just there, sort of. Um, the cornfield stuff was cool with him on fire and all that stuff, and like kind of Freddy and them kind of going, getting kills against each other or whatever. What I'm trying to say. I like the aesthetic of the movie. I do like, even though it's not Kane Hodder, I do think this Jason was pretty good. Yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about it. Like, it's Robert Englund's last performance as Freddy. I thought he did great in it, like as usual. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like it. Friday the 13th, the remake. If you've watched my unboxing of this, you'll probably know my thoughts. I'm pretty or of the new 4K. Pretty sure I mentioned my thoughts in that video. I quite like this movie a lot. I don't know if that's bad grammar. But would I put it in S? No, I'd put it in A. This is also like prime, like my, well, was that? I don't know how old I was when this came out, but this is like prime, like me growing up, like teenage, going to the movies and stuff. So I do remember that. I don't know. I don't really have any negative things to say about this movie. I like the slick look. It's directed well. I feel like the guy who plays Jason does a great job. One of my favorite additions or things about this movie is the whole him underground, and like has this whole underground like labyrinth thing, and that's how he like is always popping up. Like when he's chasing people, he's always popping up in front of people or catching them. Also like the bell thing, to like alert when people are near, and just also like him being more of like a little bit smarter, more of like a hunter kind of thing. I liked all that. Would it work in the older movies? I'm not sure, but it works in this movie. Also, Jared Padalecki. I'm a huge fan of Supernatural. I really like Jared Padalecki. So that boosts the movie a little bit for me. It's kind of the first four movies combined into one, which I actually don't mind. I think is a decent way to do it. If you're gonna do a remake, I kind of would have liked to see what they would have done if it was the mom again. Or I think what they could have done is a remake and made it kind of like the first one where you don't know who the killer is, but then have it not be the mom and also not be Jason. Like that would probably upset a lot of fans, but I don't know who you would make it, but like make it like I don't know Ralph or something like I don't know, but like yeah I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, that's my ranking for the franchise. I'm kind of upset they haven't made a sequel to this remake yet, but it is what it is. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought, or let me know your rankings in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.